Welcome back, B-movie fans. I just watched one of the most recent Asylum movies, Robot Apocalypse. Um, First, let me give you a little bit of my history with Asylum, for those who don't know. I really love Asylum movies. I know a lot of people don't like them, and that's fine, but I love them. It's just the right amount of cheese, and even though there's massive budget restrictions and when they're filming them there's massive time restraints, you can still feel the passion that the people involved have for making these movies and for like the low budget B movie genre. And I just find them really fun to watch. They may not be great works of art. Some of them might even be outright bad, but they're almost always fun. And that is the top thing I look for in my B movies, is the level of fun. This year in particular, 2021, I feel like Asylum has put out a lot of really good banger movies for them. Triassic Hunt, the sequel to Triassic World, I really liked. There's an alien invasion one that came out after that, Alien Conquest. After that was Ape vs. Monster, their mockbuster on Godzilla vs. Kong. There was Jungle Run, recent, and then of course their third Zombies movie, Aquarium of the Dead. I really enjoyed and had a lot of fun with all of those. However, this movie, I feel, while I did enjoy it, it's definitely not on the same top tier as those other ones from this year. I definitely got some issues with this one, and I will get into those. First, the movie starts off with a secret government military AI becoming self-aware, just like Skynet from the Terminator movies. And it begins to launch an attack on humanity, but more so kind of like in secret. And this goth hacker girl that's pretty much lifted straight from a bad techno thriller of the 90s, she finds out about it, and it's up to her and her friend to try and stop it, while also being hunted by it. There's a lot of scenes in this movie that just drag on and on and on, way longer than they need to, which is actually kind of odd for Asylum, because I find usually their movies move at a very quick, brisk pace, but for some reason this one just had a lot of scenes that just, I feel like, got to the point, but then just kept going needlessly, meandering, which kind of slowed things down. Now, don't get me wrong, there is still lots of really fun action scenes throughout, and I've really enjoyed those. And that is when I feel like the movie was at its best. But, unfortunately, they're kind of like outweighed by the meandering scenes. The acting is another issue here. The main hacker girl, she was fine. I really enjoyed her. But pretty much everybody else was just laughably overacting in almost every scene. And it was really distracting. Tito Ortiz, he's on the cover and first build. Like with a lot of these movies, he's not really in it very much. He doesn't come in until about an hour in, and he's not in it a whole lot, even after that. The CGI in this one, I feel like for the robots and the killer drones, fine. It was actually pretty great for an Asylum fare. However, the shots that they fire and the electrical energy blasts that they fire were atrocious. And it was a really weird disconnect from how good it was for the actual robots and drones and stuff themselves. So I feel like that could have been either done better or just replace the electricity shots with just regular bullets or something. Something that would have been easier and more believable to do with the CGI limitations that they had. But as I said, there was still plenty of action, and those scenes were really fun. I like those a lot, and they're a main reason why I did enjoy the movie as much as I did, even though that wasn't a whole lot overall. Um, and the one thing I do love about Asylum movies is the musical scores. I feel like their musical scores are always like leagues higher than what a low budget production like this would normally have and does have from other companies. It's a very like theatrical sounding soundtrack, and it just raises everything up so much more, and I really enjoy that. It is interesting with this movie. Like, I know Asylum's made a lot of movies during the pandemic, and some of them show more than others because of like facial masks that they wear and stuff. But this one I feel was the most obvious. There's really only four main characters, and they're split off into groups of two during the entire movie. And like they're not around almost anybody else during the entire movie up until towards the end. And it was just really obvious that they were just social distancing all of their actors. There's even a lot of scenes where action happens off screen and we only hear about it over the radio or through character dialogue because they can't show those scenes because it would require too many actors to be in the scene at the same time. So I feel like this movie really, those limitations really came through in this movie more than any other movie that they filmed during the pandemic. In the end, it's not my favorite Asylum movie of this year. It's actually probably the lowest, but I did still enjoy it. I just didn't love it. It has issues, but I'm not sorry that I watched it, even though I'll probably never watch it again. I have heard of a couple upcoming Asylum movies that I don't think I'm really allowed to talk about here until they're ready to announce them, but they do sound really fun, and I can't wait for those. Asylum is the type of company, for me at least, that even when they put out bad movies here and there, I'm still super excited to keep checking out the next ones, because for me, the good ones far outweigh the bad, especially in these last couple of years. So, hopefully the next one's a bit better. Alright, bye.